He might be here. Hello, everybody. It's Mark Atwood here, and I've got a round table, a square table, whatever this is. It's the Knights of the Square Table, the Knights of the StreamYard Square Table. Where do I start? Honey C. Golden, who's been teaching people about connecting with their higher self and been amazing, and was in the desert with me in the Sahara 3 years ago, and has been over to Ireland and has been in my healing center, and is just an amazing friend. How you doing, honey?
Good. Glad to be here.
Brilliant. Thank you for being here. Abby Wynne, who's written a book with me somewhere. Don't know where it is. Wow, where do you start with that? I think most of my viewers know who you are, Abby, but it's amazing. Thank you. And Abby also helped me organize this, which is brilliant. Abby's been just the best friend you could possibly have for the last number of years. Ah, well, you have. And knows more about stuff than you'll ever know, and is a great healer and a shaman and a psychotherapist and a writer and an author, not just of books about how to be better in life, also fiction and novels and things like that. Amazing. Thank you for being here. Thanks for organizing all this, Abby. Tarot by Janine, otherwise known as Janine Morrieu. He's a little bit French. Mauricio. I'm sorry. Have you got the license for this mingy? I don't know how to do French Canadian, but you don't need any introduction. It's in your branding.
Yep.
Tarot owned by Janine. That's what it should be. Yeah. Copyright. Tarot, copyright Janine. Thomas Sheridan. I can't believe he's on my show. It's amazing. Thomas is a man I first saw speak in Manchester in about 2010 with Ian R. Crane, who's no longer sadly no longer with us, talking about the rise of the psychopath, if I remember. And I was immensely impressed. And when I moved to Ireland, I was immensely impressed to bump into him in the street, and I freaked him out. I said, "Are you Thomas Sheridan?" And what? Who wants to know? And then that was that chat. And then we met a couple of times, and he's just an amazing man. He'd written books that I've got here about the Round Towers of Ireland, about magic, the rise of the psychopath. Can't remember all the book titles, Thomas, forgive me, but you are, as far as I'm concerned, one of the world's leading thinkers, philosophers, and a speaker of truth. So great to have you here. How are you?
I'm grand, thank you. You just you flattered me with your introduction, but thank you. I'll take it. The check's in the post.
Cheers. They bounce. And we've got Ferg. How you doing, Ferg?
All right, Michael. How's it going, everyone?
Brilliant. Ferg Power has not stopped waving the flag, getting out on the streets pretty much every day. I don't know how many years now, Ferg.
Last count at this stage, Mike.
Just amazing. One of Ireland's greatest heroes, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you for being here. We've got Joe Rosati here from the Truth Stream podcast in America. How are you, Joe?
I'm good. I'm finally it finally stopped raining so I could come outside. That's why I'm not on my computer. I just never knew how it was going to go today. So it's an honor to be here, and I'm excited to come and see everybody over in Ireland.
Well, I'm very pleased that you're coming. I met Joe and Scott when I toured America on the Truth Tour 2, and out of all the truthers over there that I met, just amazingly funny, erudite, talented. Joe is a great singer-songwriter as well. Where's Scott? Is he coming today?
I let him know, but Scott will be Scott.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Well, you're very welcome to be here. What else have we got? I've got Vincent Carroll here as well. Hello, sir. I've never met you, but it's very nice to meet you. How are you?
Oh, my pleasure indeed.
Thank you for joining us.
Very well, thank you.
Well, that's great. I think we've got everybody that's in the waiting room on the square table. So, Abby, over to you. What are we here talking about? You can be the co-host.
Wow, talk about passing the ball over.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to be with all of you. I have to say, what you all have in common for me is poignant moments over the last 5 years, maybe where I was wavering or I was feeling a little bit lost or alone. I would tune into all of you and feel my spirit come back to me. Vincent knows this, but at one point I was so confused and I was like, what am I supposed to do? And Vincent said to me, and I will never, ever forget this. He said, you've been doing what you've been doing, and you will continue to do what you're doing. Follow your heart and do what feels right to you in the moment. And I've cherished that advice. You know, I've met Honey through you, Mark, and we've become really close friends. And me and Janine and Honey's hung out in real life. And Thomas and I have met in real life. I'm looking forward to meeting Joe, and I've got so many hugs off Ferg. To be around people who are so strong in their passion for the truth, and to be sovereign beings and to be responsible adults, for me, it's a gift. It's exciting. Even just the energy, the synergy, when we all come together, the energy goes up. So I'm excited.
Well,
I'm excited.
I'll give a bit of background here, because the reason we're doing this is because there's an event going on in the west of Ireland at a secret location, and it really is secret because the only one who knows it is me. And that's going to be on the 20th of September. I'll put a link below this where you can purchase tickets if you want to come. And it's a special event for me because when I met Joe and Scott in America, we got talking about Ireland, because obviously I'm a blow-in to Ireland. What am I doing here? No idea. What I do, actually, I've got a very good idea, but this town was pulling me in over 25 years on a big fat rope. That's a long story for another day, which I'll probably tell at the event. But the reason I'm doing the event is because, and I flip-flopped about doing this event for months, and then I got a message, no, you got to do it because it's going to have a massively positive effect spiritually on this place. And what I wanted to do is, because I'm a bridge, right? That's all I am. And I wanted to bring all these people from different parts of the world. There's a lot of amazing things going on in Ireland. Ferg's out on the street every day. The Misa Éireann Festival just had I'm sure Thomas will go into this, just a massive backlash against the way that got closed down and reorganized. And, you know, there's a real tide turning here. And it really is a battle between dark and light. And when I was on tour in the States and I met Joe and Scott, and they talked about their love for Ireland, and I said, well, you're going to have to come over. So I had to create an excuse to get them to come over. And we've got Lewis Herms coming as well, who's currently standing for governor of California for We the People, not for any political party. And that's really also leading into what this event is. It's not a political event at all. It's really, I've asked all the speakers that I've asked to come to be a cross representation of different aspects to the spiritual war that we're in, because there's lots of different elements to it, from health to wealth to freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and all these things are really bubbling up to the surface right now. Well, they have been for a very long time, but it's coming to a kind of crescendo, I believe, and that's why I wanted to get this cross section of people over here. And Ian MacDermott has just joined us from London. Let me just wherever he is. Let's see where Ian is. Hi, Ian. How you doing?
Hey, Mark. So I'm late.
That's right. Dr. Ian MacDermott, the Harley Street knee surgeon, who's actually...
Well,
yes?
number one, I'm not a doctor, I'm a mister, and I'm not a Mr. Professor.
I was going to call you professor, and I thought I better call you. Know that pisses you off, so...
Yeah, you normally call me wanker, so that's...
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And then, and number two, I don't work on Harley Street anymore. I'm based right in the middle of the city, but, small details, eh?
Well, you're still bold and annoying, so that's good. That's consistent.
Yeah, some things don't change.
Yeah, that's good. Ian's actually been over to this town as well in the west of Ireland before and gave a talk here about 2 years ago, I think it was. I can't remember, but it's great to see you. And I know I should have rung you beforehand because I owe you a phone call. But anyway, I'm just sort of explaining why everybody's here and what this is about. We've got this event called Rebels Across the Pond, and as you can see, Janine there is from Canada, Honey and Joe are there from America, Ferg, Vincent, Thomas, and Abby from Ireland. I just thought it was good to pull all those people together. We're not got time in a one-day event to put in all the amazing people that I know into this thing, but I have managed to get the second best people that I know to come along, which is these guys. Did I say that out loud? These are the best people I can find, which is amazing. So let's go over to who should we go to second after Honey? Why are you coming over? Why are you getting off? Why are you getting on a plane and coming all the way here again?
To see Abby. So this is a bonus for me. I'm really excited that we're going to be doing this. And I'm really excited because we're at that pinnacle that you were talking about. And to me, you are a warrior and a healer. So you are the perfect bridge to bring everybody together, because there are warriors and healers here. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be together, because there's a big celebration coming, and I'm excited to feel that with people that we've been basically creating this with.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I see it like, you know, we're manifesting the victory by continuously pushing forward with positivity. And the brief for everybody is, I don't want us to go on about, oh, we've got this problem and this problem and this problem. I want everybody here, if possible, to talk about, we know what the problems are by now. What's the solution? How do we move forward? And everybody here's got a different perspective. What are you going to be covering when you talk in the event, honey?
I like to leave it up to what my higher self says is the most pertinent.
That's what I do.
Yeah. The thing I think that I want to kind of remember and put out for everybody to remember is that we are all parts of God, experiencing ourselves in this game that we're playing, and it's a cosmic game. And it's been a really rough, kind of icky game, but all those things, all that programming, all that pain is pushing us further and further up. And I'm really excited to see what we create as the 3D falls away.
That's cool. One of you guys has got a noisy microphone. I don't know which one it is, but maybe if you mute while you're not on, if you could all mute while you're not while you're not talking, that'd be fantastic. It might be Vincent, because it's on a phone, I think. Janine, I'm going to bring you in because I know you've got a household delivery probably in the next 20 minutes, right?
Of course, I always do. Yeah.
How you doing? You've been to my channel twice in a week. That's a record. And you're coming back.
I'm coming back. Yeah. And it's because you asked me, first of all, and I think very highly of you and your work. And also Abby, like, she's a big reason, because she treated me so good when I was there last time. And being a Taurus, we did the food tour with you two and the drink tour, and that was awesome. So there's those kind of surface reasons, like it was such a great experience. And also I got treated to the tour of some magical spots with Abby, and some goddess spots in Ireland. And I felt like, oh my goodness, this place has so much magic. And I also see in the world stage right now, and it is a stage in the political stage, they're really using Ireland to wake people up, because they're just putting the thumbs to the people with their government, the absurdity. And I know it's happening with everybody in different ways. Each government seems to be highlighting an atrocity. And I feel like it's by design, so people will wake up. So I'm hoping I'm right about that. I'm not trying to minimize it by saying that. I'm just, that's what I believe is happening, and what the cards are kind of agreeing that is happening. And to me, Ireland is somehow so dear to my heart. And I'm not sure exactly, maybe another lifetime or something. But as soon as I got there, it felt as homey and like base for me and grounding as the Haida Gwaii where I am. And the weather was similar. It's very interesting. So I just have a real feeling for it, and I just want to come hug you guys.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm desperately. I've just found the clip of the last time we did a show together, which was at the Manchester Monastery 2 years ago now. Shall I share that clip? This is where you read the cards on Matt Letitia and told him he was an alien. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just dig it out. It's fun. Here we go.
Boy. Yeah.
Okay, we got a soft yes. I knew you were going to say that. Okay, you're a unique being who has some kind of hybrid energy.
That was fun, wasn't it? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I've got to work out how to take it off the screen now. Hang on. Here we go. Yeah, and that was we did the monastery in Manchester. That was Rosicrucian architecture. That place, there's a whole story behind that place, and that was a manifested event because I remember I presented an event in Birmingham in 22, the first time I got out of the house after the lockdowns, and I actually said there must be somebody awake out there who's got a venue that won't close us down. And then literally 2 days later, I got an email from Manchester Monastery, and they said, "We watched your show. Can you please come over and do a show?" And I did 2 there. And you come to both of those, didn't you, Abby? Yeah. And
I was muted. Yeah. No, it was just a spectacular event, and I think the energy levels just shoot right up when groups like that get together. It's so important. It's so good.
Well, that's what I was going to say about this event, because I was flip-flopping. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Because, and we'll get to people on here that know more about this than me or can tell stories about this. The energy to stop you doing an event is massive. So it's incredible. And it is literally a spiritual battle. That's what it is. And I can tell you that they've tried to close us down already, but it hasn't worked. So that's quite interesting. Janine, you came to Manchester, and then we managed to do an event in a castle. We don't need to mention which castle, but that was amazing as well. Do you remember that one?
Yep. Spooky, but great. It was a great fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So this venue's not quite as grand as that one, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think it will appeal to your spiritual boho kind of attitude. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. So, you guys, anything you want to say about what are you going to talk about? You're going to do the normal. You're going to read the cards on stage with us. You're going to do that.
Oh, I was going to do an update on Ireland and just focus on Ireland, like with the cards, and just see how are they going to move through these times into better times, because I know they're coming, and just update. Because the energy would have changed. I feel like it's been shifting and changing. You can see it in the social media things that people are posting, and I'm excited to see the future for Ireland. So I'm just going to focus that way.
Do you want to read any now?
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you want to phrase it?
I don't know. Let's let Thomas ask the cards a question if he's up for it, because I'd be interested to. It'd be fun. Oh, you're muted, Thomas.
We can't hear you.
That's my fault. Still muted.
There you go. Can you hear me? Yeah. Well, thanks for putting me on the spot, Mark.
You sound like
okay. Well, before we came on, I heard the 2 women talking about the war against women, and I think that's particularly insidious with the whole trans thing. It's almost like they're trying to erase women to replace them with men who call themselves women. I've been thinking a lot about this in the last few days, Janine. What is the best possible strategy for men and women? Remember, we have to work on this stuff together to deal with this demonic replacement of women by these psychopathic transhumanists using the trans agenda.
Wow. 2 major arcanas, and they're really spiritual. So we've got the High Priestess was first. So I feel like there's already something happening. It's already happening. And our intuitive knowings, first of all, just people waking up and knowing and getting in touch spiritually is already happening. And that's it's a secretive card, so I'm going to just keep looking at why that might be. Okay, and here we've got the Gaia card. So especially when she's well aspected like that, she's the earth, self-loving, and personally in our own selves, we need to honor the feminine and personally honor it in ourselves. So not buy into the agendas in our personal life and be outspoken about that. Because she's loud and proud about what she believes and how she honors women and herself, if she is a woman herself. and or manifesting the feminine herself. So like being self-loving and loving of our women in our lives, and not like stopping people in cafes, I was in Vancouver, and I don't know if you guys know Vancouver. I was in the East End, Vancouver, which is absolutely trans central. Like I was on the drive, so commercial drive. So if anyone knows Vancouver out there, they're listening, they know what I'm talking about. There's a gay pride flag, there's an LGBTQ blah 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 flag every 3 meters. Like and it's the wokest street in the universe as far as I'm concerned. Maybe California has some worse ones, but it's on par with California. So I was in a cafe in there, like in enemy territory, right after Trump won, actually. And there was 3 trans men. So they were all men, but they were dressed as women and talking about all the issues that women are going to have as if they were real women. All the issues women would have, and just hating. And every one of them was a victim. It's a big victim thing. The mentality, I know it's evil because it's victim. As soon as you're a victim and you victimize yourself, you know we got the deep cult involved, right? Because they love to make, nobody's a victim here. None of my clients that I read for all those years, all their problems, they weren't victims. I never let them sit in victimhood, because that's what they want you to do. That's now you're nobody, you're a victim. Okay, so there's no way. We're fighters. We got the rebel gene. We got to bring that back up. Anyway, so I knew these guys were like kind of the enemy in this war in a way. And I just stopped them. I just said, listen, I'm an actual physical woman. And what you guys are saying is absolutely offensive to real women. I said, you don't have the right to represent the divine feminine. Okay, call yourself something else totally separate, because by now you're not actual men either. So you're not representing men or women. So you guys got to decide, what are you representing? Find a new word for yourselves, but don't jump on the woman bandwagon. You did not live lifetimes. Like apparently you live 7 lifetimes as a man before you earn a womb and become a woman. Okay, so sorry, but that's ancient beliefs, and I don't know. Maybe I'm stepping on toes here, but I was like, okay, like, so don't be offending us. Anyway, they were filming me, asking what my name was, gonna smear me and try to dox me. They were doing all of these things. Finally, before it came to fisticuffs, as the argument went on, I exited the cafe really fast because I was outnumbered, and these were big men. Just happened to be dressed as women with some lipstick on. Okay, so I got the heck out of there. But I was literally chased out of a cafe. Like, and it's okay. It's okay. We have to stand loud and proud to be feminine, and real women need to stop being okay, because it's the woke agenda is to be polite about it. It's like, I'm not going to be polite about these guys trying to represent. They're not representing me. It's embarrassing. It's offensive to me. I'm not trying to represent men, divine masculine. Okay, I appreciate them, absolutely love them. I don't like how they're being mistreated as well and diminished. Okay, but don't diminish my feminine by putting some lipstick on and calling yourself a woman. It's offensive. Anyway, okay, so this is the past. So it's a political agenda. So we know that. So we need to know that. What we need to get across to these people that are being polite, not speaking up, is that it's political and it's meant to diminish you and diminish humans. And there's so many ways. If you think about it, it's going to end people having babies. It's going to end, like, it's devastating. Okay, if their little agenda worked, it would be devastating for humanity. Okay, just taking away from the feminine love, like aspect of, and the balance in the world, like, in so many ways. Okay, so then now we've got the devil. So the bedeviled. So people are so afraid. They've been taught to be so afraid to speak up. And that's why we need, as actual women, to speak up when it's happening. That's actually who has to speak up, is more the women have to say to these people dressing as women and showing up as women that they're not, and take back our, like they're trying to take away all our power. And of course they can't. They don't even come close. Here's the near future. It's going to change anyway. So change has already been put forward. See how that little devil's underneath the wheel of fortune. So destiny and karma has already created it. They're getting toppled off. So the powers that be that created this, it's an agenda. And that's the thing the young people have to realize. It's not cool or groovy or a way to be inclusive. It's actually exclusive, in particular to actual women. And it's an agenda to diminish family values, to diminish a real masculine and feminine connectedness, to diminish, the God, goddess in us, and that representation, and it'll take away from it. Anyway, we know that. So, but it's falling anyway. So I feel like speak up, recognize, and tell your children what an agenda it is, so they start thinking, oh my goodness, because they're being used in the schools and everything. They're teaching this, and they're being used to, put it out there too. They're using the young people. So make sure if you have children to try to get it across to them what an agenda this is.
Whoa.
The high priestess is also secrets yet to be revealed. And a secret was revealed to me today that made me ask this question. I found out that there's a backlog in women's health services because of all these fellas who have their meat and two veg demanding pap smears and fertility treatment, that actually now women are dying. When these guys should be in mental hospitals, they're actually causing now fellas in dresses and makeup, causing backlogs for women getting pap smears who might get cervical cancer from these guys. So on every level, they're demonically destroying women. On every level.
Thomas, we have a problem with your microphone. You sound like Davros. Do you want to log out and come back in, because we really want to hear what you're saying, and it's very blurred.
Darth
Is it really that bad?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll log out and come back.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I know that people are going to be typing. I can't hear him. I know. We're doing our best. Let's get a bit of Janine. Thank you. I know you're going to shoot off in a minute, but really appreciate that.
Mark, I'll fly in about 15 minutes myself, if you want me to say it.
Yeah, come on, Ferg. How are you?
I'm all good, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. The bloody WhatsApp's coming at me now. You see, this is how the interferences happen. We just stop it. All right, Ferg, how are you? And are you looking forward to this event? And can you tell everybody what to expect? Because we've never physically met, and I can't believe that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, Mark, and everyone there. I've met Abby loads of times. She's absolutely sound. Look, my whole thing, the reason why we went out at the start for Enoch Book was because it was the right thing to do. We couldn't stand by and let that man. So I had to keep his plight in the public domain and let people know what was happening, because the media had it all spun. You know yourself the way they work. So we started off doing that, and then it was the mass illegal immigration, the stuff they put into the schools. We've been with Vincent a few times, with Janet and that. All the absolute filth that they tried to put in the guise of sexual education. They're absolute monsters. But look, the way it was for me, I just want to be left alone to raise my children in peace. That was it. And these bastards stuck their nose in my affairs. So I'll never back down from bullies. I never did. I'll always face them head on. And that's the only way to do it, is to face these monsters in the real world and put pressure on them.
And that's why we want you. That's why we want to put it on this. This is also one of the reasons why we're going to be filming this event. I mean, really, this is an event that I see as a video for posterity, because there's so many different angles here. You know, not everybody's made to stand in this. I mean, I remember the first or the second big protest in Dublin that I went to, and the energy in that city was incredible. It was like a hot knife through butter, but I can still see the faces of the people on the side who were just tutting at us as we walked past. It was, and you've been in confrontation mode, you've been arrested, you've been manhandled by the police. How do you keep getting up and keep going, Ferg?
God, and looking at my children, That's all I do this for, Mark. I'm not monetized. I don't give a shit who's monetized or whatever. But for me, I'm not. Because I never want someone to come back and say, oh, you only done this for fucking to make money and the whole lot. I'm not in this for nothing but my children's future, their safety, and my country. And that's it. I've no other agenda. I've no other nothing. That's all I'm doing it for. And that's what motivates me and inspires me, is looking at my children. And knowing that if we don't sort this country out and the world, I'm not handing them over to these fucking monsters. Because we all know what they're into as regards children. So I'll see every one of them dragged to a gallows before I die and go and meet God. I'll go and meet God a happy man when I see every one of these fucking bad. I'm sorry for cursing, but when I see every one of these dragged to a gallows or whatever, and they're all sorted out what they done to this country and what they're to do to children, like how was Roderick O'Gorman still walking around after what he presided over as a minister for children?
Mm-hmm.
Trafficked, raped, missing, dead children, all on his watch. I confronted him out in town. He couldn't even look me in the eye. The fucking snake that he is. He looked down at the ground, an absolute coward. But it's the same thing with this Harris lad. I think he's gone. I can see there being a government collapse by the end of this year. It has to be. I'd rather see them getting all dragged out with their hair, to be honest with you. Never mind just here resign and this and that. It's a lot more than resignations I want to see.
Absolutely. Well, we're really looking forward to seeing you in the west of Ireland. I know it's the other side of the country to where you normally hang. Mind you, you're all over the country all the time. And thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Looking forward to that. I'm going to get Thomas back on because hopefully his microphone's fixed. How you doing, Thomas?
Is that any better?
That's much better. Good. Oh, now he's frozen. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I had to cut you off earlier because it was such a bad sound, and I know that it would annoy everybody. So if you can remember the train of thought, that would be brilliant.
What I said last time? Hello?
Yep. You there?
Can you hear me?
Yes. It's a bad signal. Yeah, we've got you.
What I said was that I found out a secret today that women's health services are being the reason why there's a backlog is because of all these fellas that still have their meat and two veg showing up in gynecologist offices demanding PAPs, things like that. It's absolutely insane.
That is insane.
I don't even know what that procedure would be then.
They legally can't say no in Ireland or in many EU countries. It's just a farce. It's just a piece of theatre to indulge mentally in.
Wow.
We've got terrible internet with you, Thomas, but I think everybody gets the gist. Yeah,
I'll restart my internet.
All right, I'll move along and then we'll bring you back in a second. Joe, hello. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Mark. It's great to be here and listen to what Honey was talking about and Janine. You know, Scott and I started Truth Stream based on hearing about children missing. So as far as what we're going to talk about, you know, some of it will just come to us, I believe, but part of it, I believe, is going to be our first experience in Ireland. We love the country, but we had a really almost a comedic time with the people that we met, and we're so looking forward to being surrounded by people that we know and communicate with and do interviews with and have great relationships with. Because the last time, almost everything was saying, we don't really want you here. We had one of the most unique traveling experiences from so many people in Ireland. Like I said, we love the country, but we didn't meet the right people. So we're really looking forward to that. So we'd like to use a little bit of comedy. As heavy as these subject matters get, it's very important to use comedy. So that's why we really relate to you so much. Also, the whole censorship thing. I love that you're part of Mel Carmine's documentary, Dear Mr. President. So, and I'll be honest, a big part of the reason that we're all a part of that film is because of Carroll Maureen Friesen, who we all met at the, Mark and Janine and Lisa Schermerhorn and I and Mark met in Anaheim at the Truth Tour. And then the other thing, and I don't know how this part's going to work or if it would be part of that, and you and I could talk about this later, is I would love to perform a song or two. All I need is an acoustic guitar because I don't really plan on doing, I'm not going to bring a guitar over and travel with that. And, that's the one thing about traveling with an instrument. It's like, you're walking around with something that you may use very little. And what I realized when I traveled in Peru it was cool. I don't really feel this way in the US. It feels like I have better luck doing music in either Costa Rica or Peru and now perhaps Ireland, but there was just a guitar waiting for me everywhere. I didn't even have to bring my guitar. They would just hand me a guitar and go play. So I'm excited. I don't know exactly what to expect. I'm just excited to be around a bunch of amazing souls. And then Scott and Lisa Schermerhorn and I, and maybe Michelle Skiao. I believe we're going to be going to Spain for a week after Ireland because we're already all the way over there. So we might as well see another part of the world as well. So that's my quick update on what we're doing.
Well, we're really looking forward to seeing you, and then we'll certainly you'll probably get guitars thrown at you, so I wouldn't worry about. I wouldn't worry about the lack of guitars out here. That's not a problem. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, and really honored that you're going to come here, and it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. I've got to move around the room, and I'm going to, in no particular order. Vincent, hello, Vincent.
Hello there. Are you able to hear
like
me and see me? Maybe yes.
The internet in Ireland seems to be shite today.
Can you hear me?
Just about.
Yes, it's not very good. I can hear you perfectly well. I'm just wondering, can you hear me?
Yes.
Just about, yeah.
You can hear me. Okay,
yeah.
No, that's great. So first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I mean, like a lot of people on this Zoom, I would see myself as part of an indigenous community, an indigenous people, an ancient people that go back to the dawn of history. And that's now been undermined. That's now been destroyed by treachery, by betrayal, and by subtle chipping away. And that's something that needs to be stopped, and that's something that people need to be rallied against, because as an Irish nation, as an Irish people, we have a history of fighting. We have a history of going against the narrative, but we have to recognize it first of all. And slowly but surely, our great nation is now waking up, and that's the message that I want to put out. And that energy needs to be harnessed. That energy needs to be directed, and that energy needs to be organized. And that is happening, and that will happen. And that's where my focus and my emphasis is on. But not only is it being undermined, but in two ways, from within and from without. People who have no connection to European civilization or heritage are coming into our nation in numbers without vote, and will drown out all those of us who've been here for 2,000 years plus. But also within our nation as well, the culture is changing on a leftist, Marxist, globalist agenda. We spoke about transgenderism there. We speak about immigration. We speak about the undermining of heritage. All of these things are internationally driven, and they're there to destroy us as a unique nation, as a unique people, as a unique indigenous people. And if that happened to any other indigenous people, say for example the native people in North America or Canada or wherever, there would be uproar over it. But yet it is happening on an island on the Western Celtic fringe of Europe, and I am saying no.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to that, Vincent. I want to, while you and Thomas are both on, you know that a number of events have been cancelled. I've been subject to it. You know, Misa Aaron recently. I'd be interested in both of your thoughts on that, because to me, that seems like a turning. It backfired on them spectacularly, didn't it?
It did, yeah. No, I mean, I've been cancelled over 20 times. I know about being cancelled, and it shouldn't be. And it's a tiny, tiny, small number of people who are responsible for the cancelling, probably 6 or 7 people, with the support perhaps of 20 or 30 people. The same names, the same faces come up again and again and again. I'm not worried about them. They're entitled to their point of view, although they're not entitled to intimidate. But I am worried about weakness, weak hotel management, managers, weak venue managers, weak owners of premises, weakness, weakness, weakness. Sometimes I feel I'm surrounded by weak people. And this is where the danger and the difficulty is. The number of times I've spoken to managers with a trembling voice telling me they've received 30 or 40 phone calls or emails or what's going on. Who exactly are you? And I explain very, very nicely what the situation is. But you get the sense of weakness. They're passing on the problem to somebody else. But that somebody else will then pass on the problem, and then there'll be nobody else, because everybody will be defeated by a small clique of internationalists, globalists, transients, and Marxists.
Brilliant. Thomas, what's your thoughts?
On what Vincent just said?
No, on the Misha Air and the events being cancelled. I mean, you've been a public speaker for decades, haven't you? And have you ever known a time when events get, you know, these are the people that say that we're the far right, and they're the ones trying to close us down. And this point about the managers of the hotels or the people on the committee at the Mayflower, or, you know, it is really sad to see that they don't believe in free speech and they buckle so easily. What you know, and that's quite surprising, you know, isn't it?
Well, if COVID taught us anything, it's that most Irishmen are pussies. That's what COVID taught us. That's what we've learned. They're all cowards, and they're all like terrified of their own shadow, and they're all like afraid what the neighbors will say about them, and they're terrified. You know, if RT cameras show up, they run away like little children, terrified to their mammies. And that's a huge problem. I think cowardice. I think Vincent is bang on the money. But maybe it's always been like that. Maybe even back in the days when we won our freedom, there was probably it was probably mostly cowards as well. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I've had one event not cancelled, but they tried to cancel. The same demons behind tried to cancel Michelera, and it was in Collinstown, and they moved it to the beach beside a lake, and it turned out to be one of the most magical moments of my life. Hundreds of us standing on the edge of a lake with the sun going down and the birds flying around me, and it was like everybody just left in a high on love and positivity. And so, I mean, it was just an affirmation that, you know, the thing is in life is like, why does a wife beater beat his wife? Control. Why does a queer basher beat up a gay person? Control, but also they may also be gay themselves and don't like the fact that this person is free in their lives. So why does a person cancel someone else's event? Control, but also fear. They're afraid. Like Vincent said, they're basically, I don't think there's even 24 in the country, the whole country. And they have, they're terrible liars and they're terrible deceivers. But they're also frightening people. You look at them, they're all like very unattractive and ugly, and they're very disturbing looking. And they made cartoons of all the people involved who were at Misha era to portray them. And it was actually an English guy, a Geordie living in Sligo, I think Leitrim, who made these 19th century Puck magazine type cartoons of the Irish in those kind of demeaning ways. Now, I know I'm not putting down all English people are saying this guy was particularly, it was interesting, but it was just pure projection. It was pure projection. They were really drawing themselves. Like you could fill, you know, a whole volume of Jungian psychology on these people. They're all about projection. They hate human freedom because they're not free inside themselves. This is why they all suffer from depression and mental illness. There's huge suicide rates among them. This is because they're desperately unhappy people, and they're desperately broken people, and they think they can fix themselves by shutting down someone else. It's the same dynamic behind a queer basher, between a bully, a school bully, behind a wife beater. It's the same dynamic that they can fix themselves by smashing someone else. But it doesn't make, they might get fleeting victories of dopamine, but that night the depression and the misery, it comes back in, and they try to fix it with bravado and so on. The reason why the kneecap thing's backfired spectacularly is because there's some incredible people involved in it, such as Stephen and Suzanne and Cliff, and these are amazing human beings. and they're good people. They have the force of good behind them. They have natural law behind them. Ultimately, people when you try to shut someone down who has another opinion, and my talk was nothing even to do with anything political. I barely talk. Everyone knows me. I barely discuss political events. It was just a fear of losing control, because the First Lady said victim complexes are a huge part of it, and it's an element of self-loathing, and I think a lot of them are probably, they know that there's not a new generation coming up to follow them. They know that the younger generation don't have that kind of mentality they have, and it's almost like this is their last chance saloon to be kind of heroes or something. Now, if they wanted a straightforward, honest debate, I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. But no, it's always slurs, it's always hatred, it's always viciousness, it's always nastiness. And where does that come from? It comes from insecurity. It comes from fear. It comes from all the things that they're claiming that other people have. It's pure and total projection. And, I'm amazed they can't see it even in themselves. But maybe there's something inside them that isn't them anymore. That's what a part of me wonders too.
Well, I'm pretty sure that is the case. And I often talk about Island Land of the Pharaohs, which is one of the greatest books ever. I don't know if you guys have read it, but the layers of black magic, the importance of this country, it's so powerful. The spirit of the land comes through. You guys watching can hear and feel all of the people on this call, and that's the defiance, but standing in righteousness is the thing that I really want to get across here. And people that are going to come to this event, Thomas, who haven't seen you talk live on stage, you're in for a treat. But and I know it's important to you that this is, and important to me, that this is not a political event. This is way past politics. This is, this is a spiritual battle. What can people expect to see you talk about on the day, if you want to tell us?
Yeah, I don't do politics ever. I hate politics. I mean, yeah. I'm a total anarchist. But I'll be talking about a big part of the control system right now is reducing access to ancient sites. It's happening everywhere. Yeah. They're putting a fence around ancient sites and charging an admission. And it's more and more this is happening. They're passing laws where the farmers don't get any insurance that, might be liable if someone goes to visit a dolmen or something on their land, where, the farmer says, I can't let you in because if you had a fall, I'm liable, this kind of thing. So everything is being done to disconnect us from the ancient heritage that brought us here. Why? Because I believe there's something in these ancient sites that switches you back on. In fact, I know there is. And this is not just happening in Ireland, this is happening everywhere. And they're shutting them down. Once you hear UNESCO World Heritage Site, you know that they're shutting down something they don't want you to have an experience with. And they put a fence around it and they give you a pair of headphones and you listen to an interpreter's voice or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. And it doesn't only necessarily mean ancient sites. Have you heard the stories in Canada now? They're now restricting people in both Nova Scotia and New Brunswick to go visiting the woods. They don't even want communion with nature. They're pulling a card out the deck now that they want total. It's basically Pol Pot's year zero for the West. That you don't even have a past, you don't even have a heritage. So that'll be the crux of my talk. But me, I'm a big mouth and I go off another direction. I like to try and entertain people too. So I'm not like I don't like people walking away without a smile on their face. So I'll do my usual shtick.
Well, I know the hardest thing about this event is limiting. There's a lot of people speaking, and that's something me and Joe had to do in the States. It would be some days it'd be 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. Unfortunately, that's the way it is when you do an event like this, because I want to get as many people cross-section as possible. But I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm going to bring Ian in because he sat there patiently. Mr. Ian MacDermott. Now, it's very important, as far as I'm concerned. We've got some British people coming over, which you most definitely are, and from the medical establishment. And you have spoken out and stood up over the last 5 years. What are you going to bring to the table, Ian?
Got no idea, mate.
I knew you'd say that.
I mean, what do you want me to do? I can tap dance. I can play the ukulele. Sean says I can do a pretty good striptease, actually, but I don't know. What do you want me to do?
Well, I want you to be Ian MacDermott. I mean, I think it's important that when there are so many people who are afraid still and nervous and don't understand what's really been going on, they do want to see somebody who has spent 30 years wearing a white coat, who is a medical professional, who can give it a bit of common sense.
Sorry, could I interject here just for a quick thing about Ian? A synchronicity that's quite remarkable. I'm dealing with someone with a very bad knee issue, and basically I'm taking care of them. They're in a bad way, and when I saw Ian's profile come up on the list of speakers, it was almost like a sign from the gods that I've been dealing with this. My life's been very difficult taking care of someone, but to see that was almost like you tapped into something booking Ian. I just want to say thanks for that. It made me feel a lot better.
Brilliant. I'm delighted. What did I do?
What did you do? You just existed. And you're coming to Ireland.
That's one of my specialties, actually. Yeah, that's one of my specialties. If anything, that's probably my best thing that I'm doing. Yeah. I do that better than anybody else.
Come in your white coat and say, do what you did last time, but shorter. And actually, something's just hit me, and I don't think I've told you this, Ian. But there's Ireland is covered in healing water wells, right? I can't remember. Thomas probably knows the number, but it's thousands. And near us is a well called St. Patrick's Well, which was famous across Ireland for healing people below the knee.
What do you mean below the knee, not the knee?
From the knee down.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, but don't you think that's extraordinary? You're a knee doctor, and we've got this.
Well, I think it's a disaster for me, isn't it? That's right.
Well, it could be. Well, it'd be good if anybody's coming to the event.
Shut up about that, can't you? I don't want you going around telling everybody just stick your leg in this well. You don't need to see Ian. Thanks a lot, mate. Next,
we're going to put him out of business.
Yeah. Next, you'd be happy about the bloody med beds. Cheers.
Well, we are the med beds, Ian, as you well know.
You have to change the narrative about the well. Say it does something else. There you go.
Yeah.
I will.
Here's your foot and ankle problems, your bunions. I've got no problem with that at all.
Okay,
we'll
change that.
If there's a few things that I could perhaps focus on, and it's completely up to you. It's your talk. You guide me. All right. Some people might be interested about why on earth has the medical profession gone along with all this? Not just gone along with, but they're guilty of allowing it to happen or even promoting it. Right? The whole medical profession is deep. Not the whole. A large proportion of the medical profession is deeply guilty. They've got a lot of culpability lying on their shoulders. So I could talk about why is it that seemingly good people are capable of being not, so wrong and doing so much harm. That's one thing. Because, there is some logic to that. There is an explanation. It's not a justification. It's not an excuse, but there are some kind of reasons why. So that's one thing. Could talk about something that's really kind of quite close to my heart, which is the dilemma that we're facing between, anybody with half a brain despises Big Pharma. Anybody who's not an absolute saint will now despise and not trust the medical profession. However, and we all know about the Rockefeller, perversion of medicine, So the thing is, it's dangerous to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I operate on 25% of the people that come to see me. That means 75% of the people that I see do not get a knee op. Right, 100% hopefully get reassurance, a diagnosis, an answer, a management plan, but only 25% of those people, for them, it's actually surgery at that point. So, but that's my job, right? So, I think what we're in, especially with your 5D health setup, and I applaud you for that. We talked about this briefly last time when I was over in Ireland with you. I think if I had the power to direct things, which I don't, what I would do is I would try and find awake doctors, of which there are a reasonable number, not that many, but there are some, and empower them to be the kind of the triage guys to bring together the woo-woo stuff and the establishment type stuff, as some people may see it, and get the best of both worlds. Now, that's a hell of a difficult thing to talk about, and I'm not sure it's something I could kind of reach any solid conclusions about. But that's something to discuss, maybe.
Well, we're in with this event. We're in the business of solutions. What's your opinion about some of the way forwards? And that's something I'd certainly be interested for you to explore, to present, because of your unique perspective within that establishment in the UK, especially.
I mean, the third potential thing I could focus on, and again, it's up to you to guide me as to what you want, is the absolute critical importance of us never giving up. But I think the kind of people that you've got involved are not the kind of people that give up anyway. All right, but not to give up on the fight to wake up other people, and that's critically important, because somebody this evening, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was saying about the divergence. We're raising our vibration, we're raising the resonance, and we're rising. Okay, well, bear in mind that those who are not, what we're actually seeing is we're seeing a greater and greater divergence between the awake and the sleep. And I'm sure you guys will probably agree that it's getting increasingly difficult to hold a meaningful conversation with somebody who's asleep. They may want to talk about trivia, football, their understanding of politics, and you're looking at them and you're thinking, Jesus, where do I even start? There is so little synergy, and the gap is getting bigger. But if this is a war, which it is, then the only way we're going to win this war is by swelling our numbers, because we don't really want to take up arms. But what we do want is we want to have a big enough, a large enough minority to effect change. And you don't need a majority. People know that. I've heard different people say different things. Some people say 5%, some people say 20%. I don't know what the number is. It doesn't matter. But you need a small but powerful minority that crosses a threshold, and all of a sudden, all of the weak people that I think it was either Vincent or Thomas were emphasizing, all of the weak people, they just go, and they just shrivel, and they start doing what they're best at, which is they're sheep, and they'll go with what they see to be the winners. So, it's really important that we don't give up or one of our key aims should be waking people up. But I think that we're creating a problem for ourselves, because the further we go and the further behind they are, the harder it is for us to drag them along with us. And I think that's, if there could be a discussion on the day about how best to address that problem, I think that would be immensely valuable.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I want to film it, because everybody is passionate, but deeply intelligent, reasonable, and a leader in some way in their field. And I think that's why I wanted a cross section. That's why I wanted to have people from the different countries. We're coming towards the end of an hour. I think that's the most people can bear on a podcast. For you guys watching this, there's a link below this. We are charging for the tickets. It costs money to put these events on. It's not about making money, and they are still available. And the actual venue is, I'm the only one who knows it. So if you do ever know
it's in your garden, isn't it?
Well, we've already been infiltrated, as I knew we would be.
Yeah,
so,
I knew it would be a tent in your garden again.
Can I say something just before you turn off? Just that the conversation on the stage with the speakers at an event like this is only part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the synergy of the people getting together and having this, oh, that happened to me. Oh my God, that happened to you as well. Let's exchange phone numbers and keep in touch. And I think we've reached a point in time where we're all really tired. And everyone's like, when is this going to be over? I'm looking at my watch here. You know, could we just get on with it and move on to the next thing? And I think an event and point in time with real people in real life on a beautiful land of Ireland to gather and to release the frustration and to get fellowship, you know, because we're all going to be there for the whole day. So you can even have opportunities to talk with some of the speakers off of the stage as well.
100%.
And, you know, so bring your questions if you're coming along, and be open to making new friends, because, you know, as Ian said, the gap is harder. And I know there's many people out there who have nobody in real life that they can actually talk to. So come and make friends, come and make community, come and learn something new, come and give something of yourself, because just because there are specific people chosen to speak doesn't mean that the people coming have nothing to say. Everybody has something to say, and we want to hear from you as well. So that's me.
Beautifully put. Anybody want to finish? Just go around and say something before we leave. Joe?
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, Scott and I put an event on in Eatonville, Washington, at the end of April, I believe. And Abby, you're absolutely right. There's one woman that drove down from Seattle, and Eatonville is about an hour and a half or so, I believe, from Seattle. And she literally said, "You guys, thank you so much for having this event." Not that she was going to necessarily do anything that morning, but she was on the verge of taking her life. She really just had no one to talk to, especially up in the Northwest. And even Scott and I, like, luckily we can talk to each other. There's some people that are starting to wake up in the area, and I know that there's people that watch the show up in the Northwest that are awake, but it's very challenging. So events like this are extremely important, and to record it, and it's much easier when you see multiple people talking about something instead of just one. Like yesterday, I had a gentleman on the show for the second time, and his background is he said that he married someone that was a reptile. But what helped in the conversation was people were chiming in the audience, asking questions, backing it up. It helps. So when we have a community sharing these experiences, it's very, very important, because they can help create the paradigm shift for the rest of the people that might just think one person talking about it has lost their mind. So these events are extremely important. I'm so thankful to be part of it.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you so much. Vincent, want to say something before we leave?
Looking forward to being there. It's very important that we all get together, keep together, stay together, and work together. And that's what it's really all about, because we are at this point a minority. But for what it's worth, I mean, 20%, somebody said 5%. They say that the Bolsheviks did it on 3%. I don't know. You know, I mean, you need small numbers of people to bring about great change, but these people need to be committed. And I mean, if those reprehensible people can do it on 3%, maybe we can do it on 2%. But we need to get organized, get motivated, stick together, work together, be together, and move the people forward. Thank you.
Beautifully put, Vincent. Thomas?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to meet everybody, and we'll have an interesting but fun time.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. The link's near here if you want to come along. The tickets are limited. We will be filming it professionally and distributing that after the event if you can't make it from America or Australia or wherever else. But if you can, come over. Most of Ireland will welcome you. You'll get a warm welcome here anyway. And thanks, everybody, for joining us today. God bless you all, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Mark. Nice to meet everybody.